This is The Walking Dead, a podcast dedicated to the AMC TV show, The Walking Dead.
Coming to you from sunny Florida, my name is Chris.
And from Toronto, not so sunny, my name is Jason.
And this is Talking Dead number 70 for Monday, February 27, 2012. Jason, welcome to the program, and happy birthday this week.
Oh, thank you. I had birthday yesterday. It was all fun and games.
Was it really? Did you play board games all
No, we worked on puzzles for a little while, and I put together a Lego ship, and then we watched the Oscars.
That does sound like an exciting birthday.
Yeah,
I watched the Oscars too. Speaking of Lego, I have been in 2 or maybe 3 Lego stores while I've been for it. It's been an exciting time for me.
Different Lego stores?
Yes, different Lego
Oh,
stores.
that is fancy.
They're all over the place down here. You'd love it.
Oh, I'm sure it would.
So that's good. I also wanted to say Happy National Secondhand Wardrobe Week.
Really?
Yes. I looked it up.
Why?
I don't know. I was on a website and I happened to be looking at holidays and celebrations going on currently, and I found out it was Secondhand Wardrobe Week. So,
I don't know if I own currently any secondhand wardrobe items.
no, you're not a shopper of Goodwill or anything like that?
No, not in recent times. I may have some items in the closet that I don't wear, but I'm not sure that I currently own anything that I wear that is secondhand. And it makes me sad a little bit.
Well, you should go and pick something up and celebrate Secondhand Wardrobe Week.
I should. I remember there was a place downtown Toronto that was by the pound. You go in there and you buy whatever clothing they have in bins, and they weigh it and charge you 25 cents a pound.
Ooh, that's a good
It
deal.
is a good deal. They tore the building down, so I don't think they have that anymore, but it was a good deal. I bought virtually anything there.
You can get a lot of pairs of pants for 25 cents a pound.
Yeah, you're really good.
All right, sounds good. So we've got an interesting show this week. As you just heard, I'm in Florida, Jason, Toronto. We're recording on Skype, and things are all different than usual, so fingers crossed that it goes well.
I'm running the board, so and I'm managing the recording, so if anything goes wrong, apparently it's all my fault this week, instead of being Chris' fault.
Yeah, which normally it is. And last week when we had our problems, it was not really anyone's fault because we didn't know we had problems until we were done. But this week, I'm just saying fingers crossed hopefully everything goes well. So
I also hope everything goes well.
we shall see. Let's get started though. We have some Walking Dead news, we've got a recap of course, and listener feedback and everything else we do normally. But the first thing, The Walking Dead news.
The Walking Dead news.
Very nice.
Hey, that worked.
It sure did. That was amazing. Just one item of the news this week, and of course that is what is on everybody's mind. There was a big casting announcement earlier in the week, confirmed by AMC, so this is not a rumor. And it never really was a rumor because nobody heard about it until it came out in the media. And that is that David Morrissey, another British actor, has been cast as Philip Blake, also known as the Governor.
That's awesome.
Do you know David Morrissey, Jason?
I do not. I mean, I've seen the other bowling girl that he was in, but I don't remember him at all. I've watched some pictures, and really, I don't have any active memory of this guy.
Yeah, neither do I. I know him from. I've only ever seen one thing he was in, and that was the Doctor Who episode he did from a few years ago, which you might have seen. I don't know how much of Doctor Who you watched.
I watched it now again. I looked at a picture with him in the Doctor. I'm like, oh, he's in Doctor Who. But I don't remember the episode.
Yeah, no, I definitely saw it. I'm not caught up to date on Doctor Who, but I definitely saw that. So, but you know what? I wouldn't have known him by name, just from that appearance. And so we'll have to see. I might go and watch some of his other stuff if I can get my hands on it, or at least during the off-season we'll do a Walking Dead actor spotlight on this guy and some of his older stuff.
That'd be great. We can watch the bowling girl. We watch Space Instinct 2, apparently.
Oh yes, sir. I didn't mean to watch that.
Yeah, for sure.
So AMC officially announced this, and in the press release they gave a little bit more information on David Morrissey. They said he is a BAFTA award nominee. Morrissey has appeared in many British series, including Save Play, Meadowlands, The Deal, and Blackpool. Along with his celebrated work in television, Morrissey is also known for leading roles in feature films as The Reaping, Other Bowling Girls, you mentioned Centurion, Water Horse, and Overland Blitz. So he's been around a while. He's done a fair bit of acting, just nothing I've ever seen.
Yeah.
So what do you think of his look? I don't really think he has the look of the Governor. You know that.
Well, he's not a very for the Governor, that's for sure. But I'm not entirely set on having the Governor look like he did in the comic. I mean, casting the look is probably a mistake. Casting somebody who can play the part is probably a better idea. So I'm hoping that he's more of has an idea of what the Governor should be rather than just looking like the guy.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I mean, look is really the least important thing you want to go for, I guess, when casting someone in anything. The most important thing is their acting chops, I would say. So we'll see. David Morrissey going to play the Governor in season 3. That's what AMC has said. We're not going to see him in season 2. Of course, there's only 3 episodes left in season 2, but he's going to show up in season 3, which to me means that there's going to be even more departure in this TV show from the comic because it feels like season 3, at the rate they're going in the TV show, would be a really early introduction for this character.
It really kind of would. How many episodes are we getting in season 3? They announced that yet?
16.
16. It seems kind of tight to bring in the Governor based on the timelines that they're setting here compared with the comic.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I don't want to compare it with the comic too much because clearly it's a whole different animal, and we talked about that, ad nauseam before. But if they were going to follow the comic, it seems like a really quick transition towards or quick path towards this character. But clearly they don't follow the comic book when we're getting in season 3. So no matter what, it will be interesting.
That's good. I'm glad that they're not only have they announced casting for the Governor, they've announced that they're having a Governor, and we talked a little bit about not bringing the Governor into the TV show at all.
Yeah, Dave, our friend of the podcast, Dave, of course, has been saying for a while now that he thought there would not be a Governor character in here, and any villain they do would be something new, something different. Clearly he had no idea what he was talking about.
Or, I'm sorry, but maybe it's they may not name him the Governor, they may name him the mayor or something, the councilman.
Yes, the congressman.
The congressman. There you go.
The most feared villain in all of TV history, the
The
congressman.
congressman, yes.
All right,
Member of Parliament.
Right. We'll have to see. We'll wait and find out in season 3, which starts later this year.
Yeah.
But of course, we first have to get through season 2, and that means we have got an episode to talk about tonight, which is called 18 Miles Out, and then we have 3 more episodes to finish season 2 before we go on hiatus. So there's lots to do before we get to season 3 and David Morrissey. So with that in mind, why don't we talk about 18 Miles Out and do our recap?
Sure.
All right, so we'll get right into it. We open with shots of what looks like an abandoned school. We find out what it is a little later, but then we'll go to school. But very soon we see zombies breaking into the windows, Shane and Rick running away, Randall is tied up and crawling across the ground, Shane runs into a school bus, and we go to credits. Right. So we have another quick pre-credits opening bit here, and this one is a little bit confusing because you have no idea what's going on.
Yeah.
It's not set up, it's not a scene we are really expecting, it's just all this mayhem happening, and we go to credits and who knows what's going on here. When we come back, things have settled down a little bit, except we are at a 4-way intersection in the street. A car drives up, Rick and Shane get out, and Rick says that they waited a week to do this. So for the first time, I think we have kind of jumped in time a little bit between episodes.
Well, except apart from the pilot. Because the opening shot of the pilot was written a little girl, right, in the gas station. Then we jump back to before that happened when he was in the car.
Oh yeah, for sure. What I mean is like this episode didn't pick up the second after last week's episode ended.
Right. Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah. So the pre-credits was kind of was showing what happens later in the episode. Now we're jumping back to filling gaps, of course. But yeah, what I mean is some time has passed, and Randall has had time to heal, and they decided to go dump him 18 miles out.
Right. So now they're standing at a crossroads, figuratively and literally.
Yes, and somebody on I think our Facebook page made a really good observation here. And if you look at the road, we've got 3 directions that are old, cracked, and broken down, and just crummy old asphalt. And we've got a 4th direction that is brand new, crisp, clear, black, brand new pavement.
Nice.
So I think not only the crossroads is a metaphor, but I think the actual asphalt is part of the metaphor.
That's awesome. Good location.
Oh yeah, great location. But anyway, so Rick and Shane get out of this car, and Rick mentions that they waited a week, and then they kind of have the talk that we've been expecting these 2 characters to have at least since last week when Laurie told Rick that he's got to do something about Shane. They talk about everything. What really happened at the high school when Shane killed Otis. Rick keeping his family safe, about Shane being dangerous, and really they kind of go all through everything there. And one thing I found interesting about this conversation is Rick tells Shane, "How about you look at me when I'm talking to you?"
Yeah. You pointed out last week.
Yeah, I noticed Shane doesn't look at anybody when he talks to people, and I didn't really think it was kind of I thought it was more an acting choice on his part or character choice. I didn't really think it would be the rest of the show. I just thought it was the way he is. I just thought it was interesting that Rick said, "How about you look at me?"
Yeah, I thought that was great.
And Rick sort of finishes up with, that is my family. You don't love Laurie even though you think you do.
Yep.
And it was a pretty good scene. Rick was really taking charge here.
So good.
I was just gonna say Shane didn't have too much of a response. He just kind of stood there and listened.
Well, I think that this is the exact opposite of what Rick told Glenn. That Maggie is old enough to know when she's in love with somebody. Just believe that. She's an adult. She knows who she loves. He's like saying the opposite thing to Shane.
I suppose, but Maggie's not in love with Rick's wife.
Well, no, but he's believe this person when she says she's in love, but not this other guy.
Yeah, I guess
so. Rick's making the choices as to who loves who here.
Well, I think it's his. I think he's entitled to do that when it comes to his wife and his best friend.
Well, yeah. And, it always annoys me when people assign emotions to other people. You don't love her.
Oh, yeah.
You don't tell me what I feel.
Don't tell me what I love.
I hate when people assign me emotions.
Well, hopefully they don't do that well. As Rick is going back to the car, Shane starts talking. He tries to tell him about the early days of the zombie outbreak, which I found really interesting. He mentions that it started, and it took 2 weeks later before he was in the hospital trying to get Rick out. And that's a scene we saw in a flashback earlier in the season. So 2 weeks after sort of the initial outbreak, Rick was lying there. And I guess most of that time the hospital was still functioning as a hospital. That's why Rick was safe. Right. And after those 2 weeks, roughly, that's when the military came in. They were shooting everybody. Shane says, and then Rick, Shane tries to get him, but he couldn't, as we all know. Finally, he tells Rick that he suffered a great deal knowing they couldn't get Rick out of the hospital, and that's what sort of no one's really asked him about yet. So there you go. We finished that conversation, and we get Rick. We cut a shot of Rick looking inside the trunk, but we're getting the view from in the trunk.
Very interesting choice on that. It gets better later in the episode, but that was great.
Yeah, it was pretty good. What it is, it's the Randall cam. Yep. And of course, Randall's in the trunk. He's bound. He's gagged, and he's got headphones with loud music playing. So I guess they're trying to really deprive him of all his senses.
Yeah.
I suppose. And that's all we see that. We don't really know what's going on there yet, but that's what we get. It was a pretty cool shot.
It was, yeah.
We go back to the farm, and Maggie and Lori are having a chat about Glenn's problems with self-confidence, and pretty much Lori tells Maggie that Glenn needs to just man up.
Right.
That's about it.
Suck it up, man.
Yeah, suck it up. We all have problems. Just get over it. We cut back to Rick and Shane on the road. Rick says they need to start using their knives more during the car driving again, and he's talking about just sort of all the mundane things that they have to think about now. They need supplies, they need winter gear. He figures winter is going to affect the zombies a great deal. They need to plan for all this stuff. Kind of just the stuff, he's sort of settled in and he's kind of thinking long term now, right? And Shane's just sitting there, he's staring at the windows, and he sees a single zombie in a field, and just kind of staring at it, listening to Rick, or maybe not listening to Rick. It's not real clear.
He's sulking.
Yeah, he's sulking, I guess, but it looks like he has something on his mind. He's thinking, what am I going to do here? I think, we see the shot again later in the episode, and I have kind of a theory on it, which I'll get to then. So back at the farm, Lori brings some food to Beth, who I guess after a week is mostly recovered from her catatonic state.
Well, she seems like she's not catatonic anymore, but she does not look well.
No, she does not look well. That's true. But she's speaking again. She's up and so on. I mean, she's still in bed most of the time, but she's able to sit up and talk to people and eat, I assume. I guess Lori brings her food. They chat quickly about Lori being pregnant, and clearly Beth has a pretty pessimistic attitude to the whole thing. So we flip back to Rick and Shane, and they come to the Merritt County Department of Public Works. So it's not school, it's the Department of Public Works. I guess they figure it looks like a good place to put Randall because there are fences, there are buildings, there's vehicles around there. You can scavenge for supplies and then be on his merry way. Rick and Shane walk up to a fence, and Rick attracts something weird here. He attracts a zombie by cutting his finger and sort of waving it through the fence.
Yeah, like they can smell blood from that kind of distance.
Yeah, from that kind of distance, or even smell blood at all. I mean, we sort of know they're attracted to the smell of the living, but that's I don't know, maybe I just missed it. I didn't know that it was blood.
Yeah, I didn't think so either.
Or the blood enhanced the smell anyway. So this was a strange scene.
Well, maybe the zombie was just coming over anyway, and Rick wanted his head really close to the fence, so he put blood on the fence. So then when he got close, he would be get his face right next to the fence for what happened next.
That's a good point. I think that zombie would have his face right against the fence anyways, trying to get through it.
Well, I don't remember. I think it was in the pilot when Rick's partner, one of the sheriffs or sheriff deputies, shot through the fence. His head wasn't right next to the fence. He was just grabbing onto the fence with his hands and basically growling through the fence. His face wasn't right against the fence.
Trying to push through it. Yeah, that's true.
So I'm not sure. Maybe Rick knows something we don't. Like zombies have supernatural smelling abilities now.
That's a different secret, I guess. Yeah. But I suppose you could be right. You want to get blood right on the fence so that zombie would start licking it or something off there. Anyways, the zombie does come over and he stabs it through the head with his knife because they need to use knives more. Same ammo and so on. He talked about that earlier. He Rick asks Shane to do the same, and I guess Shane does it, but we don't see it on camera. So then they cut their way in, and as they walk in, it looks like the place has already been scavenged, and it looks like there was some people living there at some point after the outbreak. Yeah. He sees some burned bodies. Shane enters the school bus and finds evidence of people living there with blankets and baby seat, things like that. But nobody's there anymore that we can see. So they went up to the two zombies that killed the fence. Now they were security guards or police. I couldn't really tell, but they had uniforms on.
Yeah, well, they had guns. Well, it's the States. In Canada, if they're security, they wouldn't have guns. Only police have guns, but in the States, I think security in some cases are allowed to carry weapons. So I'm not sure.
Yeah. It could have been, I guess it could have been here. I sort of was going with security guards just because you wouldn't, I mean, I guess you have police hanging around the Department of Public Works, but in any case, I don't think they had quite the same uniform as Rick did used to have. So let's go with security guards.
Sure.
They line them up on the ground beside each other like a happy little couple, and Shane notices that they don't have any bites on them. Yeah, they were zombies, and Rick says, oh, must be scratches. And he goes, yeah, there's scratches on the arm there, someone's face or something like that. Rick seems to think, well, scratches are enough to turn them into zombies after they die. Yeah. So again, a little bit funny, and it's one of those things where it was an opportunity for Rick to go, oh, by the way, this doctor told me that everybody who died becomes zombies, but he didn't say that. No, he did not. So we don't really know, but it was one of those things I was kind of expecting maybe Rick would reveal the secret to Shane, one other character, and then together they would maybe not reveal it to the rest of the gang. I don't know. I thought we'd gone that way, but clearly didn't. So we see them pulling Randall out of the trunk, and we then cut back to the farm. Back there, Lori comes to chat with Beth, and after leaving, realizes that Beth has stolen the knife from the food and that she is suicidal. Yep. So that's not cool. They don't want to lose Beth. We quickly go back to Rick and Shane. They take Randall's headphones off and they go to leave him in the parking lot. He starts to beg for help. Rick throws a knife on the ground for him, so I guess he cut himself free after they left. And through all his yelling, he reveals that he went to school with Maggie.
I guess so.
So that stops him in their tracks.
Well, yeah, because now because he went to school with Maggie, there's a good chance he knows where Maggie lives.
Exactly. He knows where that farm is. It also means that he's a local, right? Which is interesting because he was hanging around with Dave and Tony, who are not locals. They were from Philadelphia. Right. So either Dave and Tony had been in that area for a while, or he was new to their group. And
he did later on say that he was alone and he hooked up with these guys. So it could have been he's been alone for weeks and weeks and weeks now, or however long the zombie outbreak has been going on. And some people went through and went, yeah, I think I need some companions here.
I need some help in this. Yeah. So, but I did think it was interesting that he was a local because that never occurred to me. I always figured that Tony and Dave, came down with their crew of guys all the way to Philadelphia. But I guess not. We have Randall with them. So Shane goes to shoot him. Rick stops him and says, I gotta think about this, and then fight. Right.
Big old drag out fight.
Good old brawl here. They punch each other a bunch. Rick gets headbutt. Shane's kind of a dick. He drops a motorcycle on Rick. Yeah. Which sounds like something some superhero movie. Like,
he threw a motorcycle at me. What the hell?
I know, picks up a motorcycle, chucks it at him. But that doesn't stop Rick. They continue fighting. Meanwhile, Randall is going for the knife because he wants to free himself, of course. And after some more brawling, Shane picks up a huge wrench, a huge plumbing wrench, right, and chucks it at Rick, but misses him and breaks a window in the building behind him, and zombies start to scream out.
When Shane threw that wrench, when he picked up that wrench, he was obviously holding something out that looked like it was wedged in someplace.
It kind of looked like, I think maybe it was leaning against the fire truck that was there.
I figured as soon as he pulled it out, whatever it was going to fall on him. Would have weird, but would have been funny.
That would have been funny. It would have been a little too comical, like pick it up and it falls on him instead.
Oh my god, fire truck fell on him.
Yeah,
okay.
And Shane dies due to falling fire truck, which is ironic because he threw a motorcycle at Rick. Now he breaks the glass of zombies. Before the zombies come out, there's a really fantastic shot of Shane's reflection in the broken glass. Yeah. And he does not look so good in that.
He looks like a zombie.
He does look like a zombie. He starts to back away a little bit, camera zooming in, and then we see a zombie arm come up and come out. Now Rick kills the first one, and then realizes there's a whole bunch more on their way out, and he hides under the first one that he killed, so the rest of them will come out and pass him by.
Yeah, that was a smart movie.
I think it was. Last week there was nothing bad decisions. That was a good one. Yeah. And Shane runs because what else is he gonna do? Back at the farm, Maggie and Beth are arguing about her killing herself. Maggie thinks that if she killed herself, Herschel would die. In air quotes. Is what Maggie said. Rick and Shane back with them. They are running for cover. Randall's trying to cut himself free with a zombie coming out. He manages to trip it and get himself loose, and he breaks the zombie's arm with his foot. It was really awesome. That was awesome. And he stabs repeatedly in the back of the head because he has no time to get his arms free. It was pretty gruesome kill.
He stabbed her quite a few times, more than absolutely necessary, I thought.
Probably. I mean, once or twice, once that thing stopped moving, you can give up. But you know what? Maybe he just wanted to really double kill her.
Yeah, we gotta be sure.
We gotta be sure, exactly. So farm, Maggie and Beth are now screaming at each other in the background, and Lori and Andrea are having a talk in the kitchen. Andrea thinks that Lori should have let Beth make her own decision about killing herself, and equates it to when Dale took her gun away. Yeah. And it's kind of a weird thing. I mean, I can understand sort of both sides of this conversation. You have to let people make their own decisions, but you also don't want to just let someone kill themselves for no reason. Well, that's true. And it kind of gets personal after that. Andrea sees Lori as privileged because she has a husband, a son, and a baby on the way, and they kind of end up arguing about the fact that Lori thinks Andrea isn't pulling her weight while cooking and cleaning that needs to be done around the farm.
Right. This conversation kind of sexist in my opinion. Like, the women should let the men handle everything while they stay home and cook and clean and make sure that the meals are prepared and hold down the fort kind of thing while the men folk do the men folk stuff.
Well, do you feel that way in the context of the show or in the context of real life? Because you're absolutely right in real life, but inside the TV show, I mean, everyone has their job, and that's kind of what Lori's saying, I think.
Yeah, but no, she's not saying everybody has their job because Andrea feels like she's doing her job. She's standing a post and guarding the group and helping protect them. Right? Yeah. She's really got this niche cut out that how she feels she's helping. But Lori's saying, no, that's not what you're supposed to be doing. That's a man folk job. You're supposed to be doing a woman folk job. You need to clean and to cook and to do the laundry. Yeah,
I can see your point. I don't know. I can see both sides of it though. I think I understand you need to have people doing both jobs. Keep people safe and keeping all the other stuff done like food and shelter and so on.
I absolutely agree. I just don't think you need to divide that down gender lines.
No, you're probably absolutely right. The line about you sitting on top of her, you working on your tan. I thought that was funny.
Shotgun in your lap.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so we get back to the Rick and Shane zombie attack, and Rick gets between a couple of cars, and he starts shooting zombies that are coming at him, but as he shoots them, they fall right on top of him.
I thought he was looking at first. I thought he was looking for someplace to crawl under, and I'm going, there's no tank with an escape hatch here, buddy. You're just gonna crawl under a car and you're gonna be screwed. But then I realized after he read it, I realized he was going for a gun.
Yeah, he was going for a gun. That's right. But I thought he was looking high under the cars too because they've done that before as well. Right. On the highway, they're riding under cars. But anyways, he comes back, he shoots the zombie, but the zombie's momentum carries it forward and it lands on Rick, and another one, and he ends up with three on top of him. And he's having trouble getting his gun aimed, but he eventually gets through the mouth of one of them and fires off a bunch of rounds through the first zombie into the zombies on top of them.
You gotta do what you gotta do.
It was pretty cool. I enjoyed that. At the farm, Beth thinks that her dad Herschel was clueless this entire time because he was wrong about the zombies in the barn, and now he's trying to appeal to Beth on the basis of that her family needs her, which is a common thing that we've seen before. That's what Rick said to Herschel when he was in the bar drinking.
Right.
And then Beth starts talking about how she wants Maggie to join her in suicide and they can do it together right there in bed. And because Beth thinks that their death is pretty much inevitable this time, and why don't they do it now together when they can instead of when they're forced to because the whole place is overrun with zombies or whatever.
Right.
And Maggie thinks this is absolutely crazy, of course. Back to Shane, he runs into a bus and he sees some zombie fingers on the floor. I don't know if you caught that.
I did see that. That was I thought maybe he had shut the door on some zombies and cut their fingers off.
Maybe he did. I didn't see that happen, but that occurred to me too. But they're lying there on the floor, and he pulls the whole cutting the hand with the blood thing again, and he smears on the door, and then I guess the zombies will get close enough he can stab him in the head.
Maybe it was a collection of fingers, like Errol's collection of ears.
Somebody's collecting fingers.
Yeah, zombie fingers. Here we go.
Maybe it was Merle who was trying to recreate the missing hand.
That's right. One zombie finger at a time.
That's right. He's just gonna attach them all onto his stump and be like, I was gonna do.
Yeah. Good plan.
And hey, it's their brothers. One can collect ears, one the other can collect fingers.
That's true.
Anyway, so Shane, he cuts his hand and he starts stabbing zombies in the head. A lot of people wrote in about this or posted on our Facebook and said, so, not like half an hour ago, he was stabbing a zombie through the fence in the ring with that knife, and then he has no trouble just slicing into his own flesh with it. Seems a little crazy.
Yeah, I don't think I do that.
No, I don't think so either. I mean, I guess he was between a rock and a zombie place, but I mean, if you're worried about, especially after that conversation about just needing scratches to be zombified,
Right.
why would he take his dirty zombie knife if he does on hand?
Well, now the whole point of blood, not the point of blood, but one of the advantages of having blood and skin the way it is that the blood in your body is under pressure, right? So if you cut yourself, blood oozes out, and the idea behind that is to keep crap out of the inside of your body, is to push all this stuff out. So by cutting yourself, the blade, it does go in order to cut yourself, you have to go inside the skin, but then the blood all oozes out, so maybe you can get lucky. Because the blood's now outside your body, and the whole idea is to get the crap out of there.
Right. So whatever goop was on the knife isn't actually going to enter his bloodstream; it's just going to be pushed back out again.
Right. You could get lucky, or maybe he had 10 15 minutes to with a couple bottles of Purell and completely disinfected his knife.
Well, we didn't actually see him put it through the zombie frame, so I think it's safe to assume that maybe we didn't see him clean the knife after.
Maybe he has 6 knives.
He could carry a lot of knives.
He has a self-cutting knife and a zombie cutting knife. And because he was in a pinch here, he cut himself first and then went to the zombie, but plans on cleaning the knife before he cuts himself again.
I suppose anything's possible. Right. I don't know. We'll have to find out. At the farm, Andrea comes to give Maggie a break from watching Beth, and Andrea does something a bit unpopular. She leaves Beth there by herself, giving her the freedom to make her own decision about committing suicide.
Right.
Before we see the outcome of that, we go back to Rick and the guys, and Rick grabs Randall a gun, and he sees Shane stuck in the bus, and he runs with Randall past the bus, out the fence, gets towards the car, and Shane sees them leaving.
Right. I thought that Rick decided to just leave him there.
You know what? I never did, to be honest with you. I don't think, even after everything that's going on, I assumed Rick had a plan in mind. Like, he knew he couldn't just run into that mob of zombies and try to do something, so he's like, oh, he's gonna go get the car, he's gonna come and ran into the bus and try to switch them all or something like that.
I'm not so sure. I sort of felt, and I have to watch it again just to make sure, but I got the impression that he was cutting his losses and sacrificing Shane in order to get away to protect his family. Because he said, when we were talking about Otis, Shane said he would never do that, and Rick said, I might. There's a chance I might do something like that in order to stay alive to protect my family.
Yeah, he does say he would do anything to stay alive.
So,
to keep his family alive.
so at that point I'm thinking, he decides to leave Shane, but then has a change of heart by the time he gets outside the fence. He's like, crap, I have to go back for him. Once he saw the 2 dead bodies of the security guard, the police officers, and picked up their utility belts and firearms, at that point I thought, maybe he's having a change of heart and has to go back and save Shane.
Well, just before we see that scene, we go back to the farm, and Maggie comes back to find Beth gone. She's locked herself in the bathroom and slit her wrist. Lori manages to pry the door open, and Beth is bleeding but okay, and she says she's sorry, so she's kind of decided that she wants to live, I suppose.
Right.
And then we get that scene where Rick and Randall running out, they see the 2 security guards lying there. It's a pretty powerful scene. I thought that one because it's clear that Rick is seeing that and creating himself and Shane, we're partners, we're brothers. We need to, even though he's being kind of jerk, we need to help each other, and that's when he decides to go back.
Yeah.
I'm still not convinced he didn't have a plan all along, but that's if he was wavering at all, that is what that's what sent him on the edge to go back again. Right. For sure. We see Shane trying to blood trick again, and he does stab another zombie, and then all of a sudden Rick and Randall drive up and rescue Shane out the back door of the bus.
Well, I guess he cut himself again. I wonder if he had time to Purell's knife while he was standing there.
Yeah, who knows? I don't know. He's got a never-ending supply. The thing about this scene that kind of bugged me is Shane just runs to the back of the bus, opens the door, and jumps into the car. Why didn't he just run to the back of the bus, open the door, and keep running when the zombies before Rick got there?
That's a good question. That door's open too, because he didn't have to push or turn or do anything. He just, pretty much just yelled the door and opened.
Yeah, he didn't have to pull a lever. It wasn't a jam or anything like that. He just sort of went right through it.
Yeah, he's done that before.
Yeah, I would think so. Because it would take the zombies a few seconds to open that bus door and get upstairs. He could have gone on with it.
That's just to kill a couple now they're walking away.
Exactly. To me, it felt too easy to get that back door. You needed to be there, feeling with the handle, maybe trying to break the glass, trying to push it, and then kind of dive out at the last second. It would have made it for a little bit more intense scene.
Yeah, I agree with you.
In my opinion. Back to farm, Andrea runs up to the farm, and Maggie confronts her about leaving Beth. Andrea thinks she did the right thing because Beth now knows that she wants to live, but Maggie tells her never set foot in this house again because how could you leave her alone?
Absolutely.
I think that Maggie will forgive Andrea after a while because Maggie realizes that okay, it was risky but it worked. Beth is gonna be okay now. But I think it could take a while.
I think some people hold grudges.
Well, I can certainly hold grudges. That's true. But if Andrea and Maggie both survive long term on the show, I think they'll probably come together again at some point.
You think so?
As friends. Okay. We'll see. So back on the road, Rick and Shane have Randall bound and gagged with headphones on again.
And we got the shit of the Randall cam again.
Yeah, we had the Randall cam.
That was awesome.
They pick him up off the road and dump him into the trunk.
Yeah, I thought it was brilliant. Just the way we shot it, with the music in the background, and I thought it was a great shot.
Yeah, I thought it looked really good too. And the way Rick kind of hunched down in front of him and then picks him up, it worked really well for me. So Rick tells Shane that he's going to think about Randall for the night, but they'll probably have to kill him. Right. And he says it can't be that easy to kill somebody. Anybody, you can't just do it here. We need to think about it.
Isn't that what happened in the Princess Bride with what's his name, the Red Pirate Roberts? He went off into he picked up by the Red Pirate Roberts and said, well, kill you tomorrow. And then he said that and never did until he became the Red Pirate Roberts.
I don't remember. It's a long time since I've seen that movie.
Well, you watch it again. It's a really good movie with really synthetic, crappy soundtrack. But a very good movie. I watched that again.
Okay, I'll put it on my list or my rewatch list. So after that, Rick then reinforces that the same thing they talked about at the beginning. He says that is my wife, as my son, as my child. Yeah. And he asks Shane to trust him and follow his lead. So he's really trying to exert his sort of alpha position over Shane and the rest of the group here.
I think it works. I think that first conversation with this conversation, I think that Shane is accepting Rick's leadership.
I think you're right, but I also think that he's starting to feel like an outsider, like a loner. And the reason I feel that is because what we get next is Civilian by Ben Y. Oak, and this song was used in one of the promos of the show back for season 2.
Yep.
So I was surprised to see it here again. But and the show ends with the same shot of Shane staring out the window of the car at a lone zombie in a field. And to me, I think this was kind of symbolizing that Shane is feeling more and more of a loner with nobody on his side, and he's got nobody that loves him and so on. And he's kind of staring at that lone zombie thinking that's me.
Yeah, maybe.
That was my take on it anyways. I think there's going to be a lot of discussion about sort of what, because we've seen it a few times, there's going to be a lot of discussion of what that sort of means in the context of the show. You have any other theories?
Not at this time.
Any other themes? Like,
No.
Yeah. All right, well, fair enough. I'm going to go with Shane's kind of identifying all that zombie thinking there I am roaming the fields alone with nobody. Right. So that's that. Interesting episode overall, I would say. We don't get any Glenn, Dale, or Carol, or Daryl.
Or Herschel, or we had a lot of missing characters in this episode.
And we really just had this 2 storylines. What was going on with Rick and Shane, and what was going on between Maggie and Andrea and Lori and Beth.
And this episode was very much divided down gender lines as well, right?
It was true.
So all this, everything was either men folk going out and fighting zombies, or women folk arguing amongst themselves about chores and possible suicide.
No, it was. You're right. It was men doing men stuff and women doing women stuff, and it obviously upset you because it's just sensitive.
I've actually been called a feminist to my face.
Well, there's nothing wrong with that. So there you go. Interesting episode. We'll have to see what they come back with next week because we're probably going to pick up right where this one leaves off again. I would think because they've got to deal with the Randall problem. Yep. I don't know because I'm down in Florida and I didn't get to watch the show when it broadcast on AMC. I haven't seen any of the next week the clips from next week.
Nor have I actually. We're completely in the dark.
Completely in the dark, and this week on the podcast we're not going to have next week on the Walking Dead segment because there's nothing to talk about at least as far as we know.
Next week there will be an episode.
Yes, there will.
And it will most likely star at least some of the people that have been in previous episodes.
I would imagine something. All right, but we are going to do our next segment of this podcast right now, and that is going to be Holy Crap, Did You See That?
Holy crap, did you see that?
All right, and the first one we have is a phone call. It comes from, as I like to call him, friend of the podcast, Dave. He's been calling in. He's got a couple of weeks, but hopefully he's back on his regular schedule. We'll call in with his Holy Crap, Did You See That moments. So Jason, play the call, please.
All right, here we go.
Gentlemen, how are you? It's your friend Dave. I'm calling for my holy crap. Did you see that moment? And I want to tell you that there are two specific moments that I noticed. One was the first one was when Rick was looking down at the two officers that they had taken down and had arranged for whatever reason. Rick was down, and we all know that he sort of sees himself in chain in that position, and that's when he makes the decision to go back and save his friend despite the differences. And the other one was as they're driving back from the scene, Shane listens to the field and sees that one zombie sort of jumping around the field, and I think that is the exact moment that Shane decides to kill Rick. So what I was really, really interesting was the two opposing views of the exact same relationship, and it'll be fun to see how it plays out. Keep Shane around genius, and I kind of hope he sticks around a lot longer. He's making for an excellent antagonist. Anyhow, that's it. I'll see you on the internet.
All right, so
Dave agrees with me in that when he sees those two officers, two police officers, that's when he decides to go back and save his friend Shane.
yeah, you're right.
So I thank you, Dave, for pointing out that he saw himself and Shane as partners by looking at those two officers and put that together. I think that's a very, very interesting point.
Well, I do think he saw himself in Shane and those two guys, and that's why he went back. I just think he was probably, I think it's probably what solidified his feelings to go back. I still think that he wanted to, find a way to go and rescue him. He might have been sort of still weighing his options at that point until he saw those two guys lying around the ground together.
Yeah, that's on Dave.
Well, so was Craig from Georgia. He wrote in and said, when Rick was leaving the facility with Shane on the bus, before leaving the fenced yard area, he looked down at two zombie officers laying together on the ground. I believe he thought himself as Shane for a moment. I think that was Shane's saving grace. I also believe Rick is Alpha again for the moment. So Craig from Georgia seems to have the same moment for all. Glad to see that too. Mark from 18 miles out from us, as he wrote it. Apparently he's in Scarborough, Ontario,
Oh, yeah.
which is a suburb of Toronto. He writes, two holy crap moments are Randall looking up over the, Randall backing up over the zombie's head in the car, which was very nasty. And Andrea telling Lori she has a husband, son, baby on the way, and boyfriend.
Yeah, that was a great line.
It was really, really awesome. I didn't catch it the first time I watched it through.
Really?
I watched it again. There it was, yeah.
It was in your face.
Exactly. Mark finishes with, just when you were feeling sympathetic for Andrea, since everyone but the Grimes really have lost everything, she hits her with that. Great writing.
Yeah, that was genius.
We got another email from a listener who didn't want his name in quotations on the air, so I respect that. But he says, my moment is not really a see that, hear that. Herschel referring to the zombies as walkers for the first time and not making a big deal about it. That was in Trigger Finger, the last episode, 4 so more bar. Right. So that's a good one too. Beth from Arkansas, regular contributor to the show, she wrote, had so many holy crap did you see that moments. But the first one that sticks out was when Rick rolled that dead walker on top of him and just let her go after Shane. I was pretty pleased that Rick gave Shane a taste of his own medicine, especially when he was trapped in the bus and thought Rick was leaving him behind. That look of pure panic. I actually yelled at the TV. Ha. Doesn't feel that great, does it, Shane?
Oh, I love when you yell at the TV.
Oh yeah, nothing better because you know it's working on you. Yeah. Finally, Ashley from Pittsburgh wrote in and said, my only crap did you see that this week was the death stare that Lori gave Andrea after their little discussion. Lori looked like she was ready to rip Andrea a new one, but since she is a classy lady, she held back. It was really intense. I can't wait to see if and how her behavior changes. So there you go. That's another good one for sure. Yeah. My holy crap did you see that moment from this week was scene where Rick is down between the cars and he has zombies piling on top of him. He's trying to get his gun up to shoot them, but of course it's an awkward position. He can't really get the gun in position. And one of the zombies knocks or seems to knock the gun away as Rick is trying to get it pointed in the right way. And he does it twice. You see it happen 2 times. The zombie's hand comes, knocks the gun to the side, it kind of hits the car, and Rick has to struggle to get it back into position. And I don't know. I wonder if this was just the zombie extra kind of flailing his arms and just hitting everything, or if there was something more there where the zombie's trying to knock the gun away so that he's not getting shot through the face.
I think maybe the zombie was Steven Seagal in previous life, or at least whatever martial art. I forget the martial art that Steven Seagal is very proficient in, but it's all defensive. And like if you brandish a weapon, you just brush it to the side. So it might be a residual memory of whatever this martial art is that you just kind of brush it aside.
Because we know the zombies do have residual
That's right. So if we have our inspector, we can have Steven Seagal or whatever that martial art is.
Yeah, I suppose. As long as it's not Steven Seagal zombie.
Right.
We don't want that.
No, we don't want that.
Anyways, that is my holy crap did you see that moment. Zombie, what to me looked like purposely trying to knock a gun away, but clearly it was Steven Seagal. So
Yeah.
that's fine. Do you have a moment for us?
I do. It's when Rick and Shane first see the zombie through the fence and Rick puts his blood on the fence to get his head right next to it and just stabs him in the head with a knife through the fence. That reminded me of when they were doing that in the prison, the comic book. Now we're going to spoil a little bit here about the comic book. But didn't they have trouble with stabbing zombies through fences?
They had trouble in the comic book because the knife would get stuck in the zombie's head, and as the zombie fell down or back, it would take the knife with it and wouldn't get your knife back.
Right. So zombies in a TV show obviously have much softer heads than the zombies in comic book.
I did kind of get that feeling, and that occurred to me when I was watching it too, because Rick does it, and then when Randall is stabbing that zombie in the head, he stabs it 4 or 5 times, and knife in it, no problem.
Okay, so with stabbing in the head, what Randall was doing, I have no problem with that because okay, so the head is on the ground at that point. So when you're stabbing it in, the head has nowhere to go back. But if you have a skull with a bone in it, like you and I both do, you take a knife and push it against the skull. It's not just going to go through your skull and your brain. It's going to push your head back.
You're right.
Right. So I bullshit on the stabbing the zombie through the skull through the fence.
The only way it would work is if there's already a wound there, and so there's a crack in the skull or some sort of break in the skull already, I guess.
There needs to be something behind the head in order to get the knife through that skull. And last week it didn't. We got cut out in our podcast because of technical issues, but we had a brief conversation about trying to get through a skull, and it's not an easy proposition to get through a skull, even with a knife.
And even with a behind it.
Yeah. So yeah, just being helpful. I don't think we go in, and I don't think we dumped.
Okay, well that's you're probably right about that. And, I think about me while I was watching it, but it did remind me of the comic that's in the comic, absolutely right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, that's it for how for what we got to see that. In the future, please send in your moments who love to read on the air, and it's a good way I think of bringing a little bit more to the show because everyone knows his things and has different theories, and it's fun to share them. Now it's time for listener feedback. You got the
Yeah,
Listener feedback.
All right, good. We're flying with pants here.
Oh, yeah.
Just gonna go with what we get. All right, Shenandoah from West Virginia wrote an email and says she's talking here about the Daryl and Carol scene from last week when Daryl became a real jerk. And she says, I honestly don't think he's being a dick. He's angry, afraid, confused, and it's just coming up. The things that he's saying don't really make a lot of sense. She hasn't accused him of anything. I think he's hurt, and the rage that's coming out of him is like cleansing a wound. It's painful and ugly, but it's all for the best in order to heal. Carol knows this, and that's why she's letting him say it, not arguing with him. Man, it's gotta be hurting her too, though. Tough therapy, but psychiatrists are in short supply now.
Oh, yeah.
So we were kind of going on last week about how he was really being an ass, but he's really just kind of trying to. What she's saying is he's sort of trying to cleanse himself of all this, and Carol kind of knows this, and that's why she's just taking it.
Right.
And it's ultimately, I think, good for maybe both of them because they'll be friends again.
I hope so.
I hope so too. Last week we also talked a lot about Glenn's shotgun and his proficiency with it.
Right.
Well, we had a bunch of people write in with information on that. I've got a couple emails here. The first one from Chris in Pennsylvania, and he says if Glenn is using slugs, you can hit a target from 50 to 100 yards with no problem.
Okay.
A great shooter can hit as far as 300 yards, which is pretty far. He says slugs are rifled, so they twist and fly straight. They do not tumble. Most shotgun barrels are smooth and not rifled, but you can get rifled barrels for them. You can also make normal birdshot or buckshot rounds and cut them, and then those rounds act as a slug. That way you do not have to carry different rounds with you. So it is possible to blow zombies up at a distance with a shotgun.
Okay, good to know.
Yeah, good to know. Mike from South Carolina writes in on a similar topic. He says in regards to the choke, most guns aren't quickly adjustable for choke. The only ones that can be adjusted are the on the fly or called poly chokes, and are an easily recognized blob of metal on the end of the barrel. And these have been very common for decades, he says. On more modern guns, they typically use screw-in chokes. These can be swapped in and out, but require that you unscrew and remove one choke from the end of the barrel and then screw in a new one. It doesn't take long, but not really battlefield adjustable. So bottom line is, it sounds like we just sort of have to have the right combination of ammunition, setup, and expertise with the weapon for Glenn to hit those zombies as far away as he did. But awesome.
So a little bit of planning and practice shouldn't be too much of a problem. But under combat conditions, just making these kinds of adjustments are not really feasible.
Not really feasible exactly. So dumb luck. We go with that. That Glenn's able to hit these zombies.
I'm gonna go with movie magic.